Okay, welcome back everyone to the second half of the show. We hope you enjoyed the very, very lovely pineapple tarts. Yeah. Just again, we'd like to invite if any of the children would like to sit in front, yeah, feel free to do so. There's plenty of space to accommodate, and you get a much closer and in-person experience with you and the story. Okay. So without further ado, we'd like to restart the program, and we'd like to invite Chris Miley for the Emperor's New Clothes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Miley.
And the tarts. Once upon a time, and quite a long time ago it was, although I'm not going to tell you exactly how long ago it was, because I mentioned later in the story that I was 6 years old at the time. And if I told you how long ago it was, you might be able to figure out how old I am. And I don't tell anybody how old I am. So anyway, about 72 years ago, my parents and I lived in Cornucopia, a wonderful country ruled by a wonderful emperor named Ferdinand XIV. Ferdy was smart and wise and friendly. But what folks remember most about him was his obsession with fine clothes. He had 365 different outfits, one for each day of the year. And every morning, people would line the streets near the royal palace in order to catch a glimpse of the emperor on his morning walk. At least that's how the emperor wanted to walk. His aim was to look important but friendly, regal but not unapproachable, dignified but not snooty. The problem was he had a dog. The dog's name was Oatmeal, because that's what he looked like. If you took a bowl of oatmeal, turned it upside down, and let the oatmeal just plop onto the floor, that's what that dog looked like when he was asleep. He looked like something you should clean up before your parents get home. But when you let him outside, Oatmeal was one speed demon of a dog. He ran everywhere, back and forth, over and under, through and around, getting into all sorts of mischief along the way. Now, the emperor often took Oatmeal along on his daily walks, but Cornucopia had a law saying that any dog in the city had to be on a leash. So what would happen is this. The palace door would open and Oatmeal would always let the emperor go out first. He was the emperor after all. And just as his master was settling into an appropriately royal stride, Oatmeal would come shooting out of that door like an arrow from a bow. And remember, he was on a leash, the other end of which was being held by the emperor. By the time they got back home, the emperor was so winded and dizzy he could hardly stand up. But before taking a nap, he always stood in front of his magic mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the coolest dude of all?" And the mirror always replied, "If clothes are what it's all about, then you're the man, there is no doubt. Your wardrobe is beyond compare. There's nothing like it anywhere. Yes, you're the best, without a doubt, if clothes are what it's all about." Now, some of the emperor's outfits came from faraway exotic lands like South America or China or Pulaticus. But most of them were made right in Cornucopia by a family who had been officially appointed the royal tailors. The parents of the family were named Mr. and Mrs. Breast. That's right, their name was Breast, but it's not what you're thinking, okay? It's spelled B-R-E-S-T, which is a town in France, which is where their families came from. Anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Breast had been married so long they were almost like one person. They finished each other's sentences, adjusted each other's clothing, and always walked in step with each other. Mr. and Mrs. Breast had two teenage children, a girl and a boy. Now, most people couldn't even remember the girl's given name because everybody called her Red on account of the colour of her hair. Red was a real live wire. She was smart. She talked a lot. And she was always doing some project in her spare time. Red's brother was named Robert, but everybody called him Rob. He was completely different from his sister. He didn't say much, and he usually liked to be off by himself, reading a book or writing in his diary or just thinking. Now, you put the four of them together and you've got a pretty interesting family. One fine summer day, when their parents were off on a business trip, Red and Rob were walking their pet lizards in the park. They'd been talking about how vain the emperor was and how important it was for him to have the best outfits, and how upset he'd be if he thought that anybody, anywhere in the world, had clothes that were more special than his. Now, Red had a mischievous streak a mile wide. She loved playing tricks on people. So when she suddenly said, "Hey, I've got an idea," Rob said, "Uh-oh, somebody's in trouble." But actually, Rob was pretty mischievous himself, and he agreed to go along with Red's plan to see if they could trick the emperor. That's right, trick the emperor. Imagine what colossal nerve they had. I mean, it's true that the emperor was a kind and forgiving man, but still, for two teenagers to try to fool their ruler, to bamboozle the boss, to flim-flam the man there was nobody higher than, well, their parents were out of town, and they thought they could get away with anything. So they put on their very best clothes and they went to the royal palace. When the royal guard heard that they were the children of the royal tailors, he let them in and he sent them to the royal chambers, where the royal musicians played a royal fanfare as the royal doors were opened by the royal announcing guy. Your Royal Highness, may I present Rob and Redbreast. So, said the Emperor, you're the children of the finest tailors in the land. What brings you to the royal palace? We want to offer your highness the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, said Red, of owning a magic suit, the likes of which no one has ever seen before. The entire set of clothing from top to bottom, outerwear to underwear, will be made with invisible thread. Wait a minute, said the Emperor. If the thread is invisible, the suit made from it will be invisible. That's where the magic part comes in, said Rob. The deal is that the thread is only invisible to stupid people. Smart people can see it perfectly well. Aha, thought the Emperor. This would be a good way for me to find out which members of the court are smart and which ones are stupid. Then I can fire the stupid ones and be surrounded by the smartest court in the world. So he ordered the suit to be made. And he also ordered that the royal tailor's workshop be transferred to the palace courtyard, so that everybody could watch Red and Rob at work. First, they both sat down at spinning wheels and pretended to take their magic material and spin thread out of it. They used the old-fashioned kind of spinning wheel, where you work the pedals, and that makes the wheel go round. After pretending to dye the thread many different colors, they attached the spools of imaginary thread to the loom, which is what you use to weave thread into pieces of cloth. Their loom was a huge, complicated machine with all sorts of big arms that swung around and shuttles that went back and forth and spindles that popped up and down. Sometimes it made so much noise, it was almost scary. picked up their scissors and started snipping. Snip, snip. They snipped away for a long time, just as if they were really cutting pieces of cloth into the shapes they needed. They pretended to thread needles and sew the pieces of cloth together. Finally, as Red and Rob went through the motions of putting on the finishing touches, you know, things like buttons and cuffs and the zipper for the fly, all the people who were watching convinced themselves that they were actually seeing a beautiful suit of clothes. After all, they didn't want anyone to think they were stupid. When the suit was shown to the emperor, he didn't want to look stupid either. So he said, "Never in my life have I seen such an unusual suit of clothing." And he asked all his servants and ministers and ladies in waiting and hangers-on what they thought of it. And naturally, they all said,
"Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's absolutely stunning.
Oh, it's to die for.
It's like holy cool.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Man, that's
And as he retired to his private chambers, the emperor announced, "I shall wear it tomorrow morning on my daily walk." The next day, of course, everybody was lining the streets to see the emperor's new clothes. They'd all heard about how only smart people could see the clothing. So when Bertie appeared, everyone oohed and ahed and cheered and applauded. Now, I was 6 years old at the time, and I was there with my parents. And somehow, nobody had told me about the smart, stupid thing. So, when 30 the 14th got to where we were standing, I tugged on my father's jacket and said, "Daddy, why isn't the emperor wearing any clothes?" "No, you're not stupid, son," said my father. His Highness has a very fine suit of clothes on. And I said, no, he doesn't, Daddy. He's completely naked. I can see it now. You be quiet, boy, said my father. And then my mother said, but I can see it too, honey. The Emperor is stark naked. And then people standing near us began to say things like, you know, she's right. He's as naked as a jaybird. Is he trying to test our loyalty or something? As the commotion got louder, Ferdy started looking around, and when he lowered his gaze, he suddenly realized that he was walking down the middle of the street without any clothes on. Now, I think you know what he did next. Yes, he turned around and ran back to the palace, even faster than Oatmeal could have, knocking down anybody who got in his way. He slammed the door behind him, ran up to his bedroom, and put on one of his 365 bathrobes. Then he went to the magic mirror and said, mirror, mirror, on the wall, who's the dumbest dude of all? And the mirror replied, oh, you're not stupid, but you're vain. And what you did was quite insane. But listen now to what I say. Your people love you anyway. Don't let them down. Don't be a jerk. Just give your brain a chance to work. Nice clothes are nice, but they are not the only precious things you've got. Ferdy thought for a while. My people respect me. I should go right back out there and show them that the feeling is mutual and that I have a sense of humor. Everyone was still standing around on the street when suddenly the palace doors opened without any fanfare, and out walked Emperor Ferdinand XIV, wearing sneakers, a pair of jeans, and a t-shirt saying, my grandparents went to cornucopia, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. A great cry went up from the crowd. Long live the Emperor! Ferdy was so happy that he turned around and gave a sign for the palace guard to let Oatmeal out. As for Rob and Red, at first the Emperor was going to punish the young tailors who had tricked him. But in the end, Ferdy gave them each a medal that said, "In honor of Rob and Red Breast for opening the Emperor's eyes." The end. Could I ask Farah Abdul, would you come forward, please, Farah, and take a bow with us as our narrators director? Thank you very much. Let's hear it one more time for these wonderful group of people.
Wow, wow. How was that? What a wonderful performance that we had today. Let us give the Tarts Ensemble and our guest narrators another warm round of applause. Our thanks to Lee Chun Hao, Peter Loh, Jeremy Tan, Katie Kuba, and Alyssa Kong, to Mariam Richardson, Garu, Donovan Ng, Alison Stevens, and Chris Smiley, and to Far Abdul for directing the narrators. And a special thank you to all our young audience members. We hope you enjoyed the stories, the music, and perhaps learn that fairy tales can sound quite different when you add an entire ensemble. We'd also like to thank Dr. Uwe Kibeng and the Penang Arts Council for their support in making today's event very much possible. And finally, thank you to all of you for joining us here at Penang Institute. We hope you've had a wonderful afternoon with us, and we look forward to welcoming you to another GLTF Plus event, hopefully very soon. Have a lovely day, everyone, and keep reading, keep listening, and keep imagining. Thank you so much.
Okay, baru beres. Okay.